Hi, everyone. You know, every once in a while we run into a saint who is, well, not a martyr, not a confessor, not someone who lived a particularly difficult life, not one who was full of conflicts or these sorts of things, but actually someone who loved God, was productive during his life, and was beloved by virtually everyone he or she encountered. Well, in this case today, we have such a saint. His name is Nicodemus of Tismana, also known as Nicodemus the Sanctified, who was born in the year 1320 and died on December 26th in 1406. Now, Nicodemus fits the bill in what I've just described, because from his early embracing of the monastic life, and this of course is after being raised in Serbia, where he was born, he found his way to Mount Athos, where after a number of years he became the abbot of the famous Hilandar monastery. Now, he also became proficient in the Jesus prayer and practiced that incessantly and spread that whole hesychastic milieu to many of the monks there. And it would also take fruit in another land, as we shall see in just a couple of seconds. Now, he was beloved by all of his disciples, and Hilandar Monastery at that time was quite the mix in terms of multi-ethnic cultures. And many of these people would end up taking his teachings back to their own country. Well, after a while at Hilandar, he eventually settled somewhere south of the Danube River, where he had a vision that told him that he should go into the land of Romania. And indeed, he is considered today as a Romanian saint. For this man started numerous monasteries, at least 5 or 6 that we know of. And he was beloved by patriarchs, kept great correspondence with many of the famous abbots of the day. Even the princes of the area were very, very fond of him. And one in Romania gave him carte blanche to organize Romanian monasticism as he saw fit. And so Nicodemus did that. He founded a school of calligraphy and copying that became quite famous during its time. He even himself copied a Slavonic gospel just to get the hang of how to do it. This man was generous to a fault. He was someone absolutely dedicated to Jesus Christ. He was proficient in theology. He knew exactly what he was talking about whenever he spoke of prayer and the spiritual life, and everyone around him knew this. So eventually he founded the monastery in Tismana in Romania, and it became quite a large and very well organized place of spiritual preparation. After many, many years, he eventually retired, and in his retirement he didn't go to an old folks home or something like this. Instead, he decided he would take the easy road and go up to a cave which was up above the monastery. And there he spent most of his time. He would come down on the weekends for divine services and would serve the liturgy, and then he would give a word of instruction to all the brothers there before finally going back up into his cave, where, as I said earlier, he peacefully reposed in the year 1406. Now, why the Lord grants some type of life to certain saints and more difficult type of life to other saints who are struggling with persecutions and martyrdom, well, perhaps one day we shall know. But in this case, it was for the obvious propagation of the gospel of Jesus Christ in Serbia, Mount Athos, and indeed in Romania, that led Nicodemus to this wondrous sort of existence where he fulfilled all of the obligations that the Lord set to put on him, and he fulfilled them in a really wondrous manner. This is one of the saints whose popularity has never left us, particularly in that region, and someone who, by his boldness in the proclamation of the gospel and his obvious love, not only for the Lord, but for all the people around him, spread to neighbors wide and far, and to many other countries in the surrounding area. Nicodemus truly was someone who took all of the talents that had been given to him and returned them to the Lord in a multitudinous and multiplicitous way, so that his talents spread to all who ever came in contact with him. By his holy prayers, may we also make use of the small gifts that God may have given us, so that we can return them back to him in a profitable and spiritual manner. Bye-bye.